Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better, and today I am extremely happy. We have a guest who launched multiple businesses. They are an entrepreneur through and through. They took $5,000, made $12 million. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to hearing their story. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Nathan Hirsch. Nathan, thank you so much for being here. Did I completely destroy your last name, by the way?
Hey, you did. It's Hirsch, but it's all
Hirsch.
good. Phil, thanks for having me on.
It's my pleasure to have you on. When we connected to have you on the podcast, looking at all your stuff, I was just blown away with everything you've done. I know I didn't touch on any of it because it's obviously going to be brought up during the episode, but could you do a favor and just introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, my name is Nathan Hirsch. I'm 33, about to be 34. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I'm a longtime entrepreneur. I had a few high school and college jobs and internships, but I started a pretty large e-commerce business out of my college dorm room and scaled that for about 6 years, hiring a lot of virtual assistants to grow that business, really out of necessity because college kids were not very reliable at the time. And I spun that into a marketplace with my business partner, Connor, called FreeUp. And we scaled that business from a $5,000 investment to doing $12 million a year. We exited in November 2019, which is a life-changing exit for us. Little did we know the pandemic was right around the corner. And since then, we've just been launching different businesses. We own Outsource School, which teaches people our hiring process and our SOPs to hire great virtual assistants. And we have two bookkeeping brands, EcomBalance and AccountsBalance, that does monthly bookkeeping for different online and digital businesses. So I've been an entrepreneur forever. It's part of me.
So I want to go, obviously, I can probably guess why you started your first entrepreneurial venture as a college kid. It was money, I'm guessing. You wanted to have a little more money as a college kid?
It's funny. I always joke that French fries are the reason why I became an entrepreneur. So when I was younger, my parents are amazing. They couldn't be more supportive. They were both teachers, middle class. I didn't grow up poor or anything, but I went to school with a lot of kids that were very wealthy. And my dad taught in the town next to me. And so I got to go to the nicer high school and just hang out with my friends. We would go skiing, we would go snowboarding a lot, and they would sell French fries in the lodge. And my parents would never let me get the French fries. They were $8 or whatever it is, a ridiculous amount of money for French fries. But all my friends got French fries and I didn't. And in my mind, I'm like, one day I'm going to earn enough money that I can buy my own French fries whenever I want to. So I always kind of had to drive to provide for myself and buy nice things that all my friends had. And obviously when you get to college and you're a broke college kid and you need beer money and all the side money there, that was motivating. And then just hating working for other people at the internships and jobs that I had.
So it was French fries. French fries was the spark that made all this success. So we can thank French fries for that. That's the most original answer I've ever gotten for why someone started podcasting, started entrepreneurship. Sorry.
The funny thing is now I can afford French fries, but I still think they're too expensive. So now I don't buy them anyway.
Not even the pre-made ones?
No, pre-made is fine. I'm talking about the ones at the lodge at the
they're probably now at like what, $12, $15. Yeah. That's insane. So you started your first business pretty much in college, and it was an e-commerce business. Were you drop shipping? Were you knowledge dropping? Like, how did you start your business?
Yeah, honestly, it was a combination of research and timing and throwing a lot of things against the wall. I remember these guys came to my dorm at the end of my first semester, freshman year, and they tried to buy my textbooks back for pennies on the dollar. And I told them no, and I will go sell them myself. And I went to the bookstore and they didn't offer me much money. So I went online and saw where I could sell these books. And I found a few different textbook companies. And I also created an Amazon account. No one really knew what Amazon was. This was 2008. And I listed the textbook and I sold it. And all of a sudden I had this seller account. This was new and there were no courses or anything on selling on Amazon. So I started this textbook buying company. I would offer more money than the bookstore. I created a little referral program. I told all my friends. Before I knew it, I had lines out the door of people trying to sell me their textbooks. And eventually I got a cease and desist letter from my college telling me to knock it off, that I was stealing money from their business. They were going to kick me out of the dorm room and all that. And so I had this Amazon account. I thought it was cool that I could like make money and they would deposit money in my bank account. All these were very new concepts. And I didn't really have a place to store textbooks or money to buy a lot of textbooks. And I didn't want to get kicked out of school. So I started experimenting with what other things I could sell on Amazon. And there was this website called slickdeals.net. And I had this idea, what if I drop ship the deals to Amazon? So I would sell whatever the deal a day was on Amazon. And whenever people would buy it from me, I would buy it from Slick Deals, ship it to the customer. I would pocket the difference. And that became this very successful dropshipping business. Eventually, I found a bunch of retailers that were really good at dropshipping. I eventually went around the retailers directly to the people who made the product and built relationships with them, and had hundreds of different US manufacturers that had my credit card on file and would just ship the product where I told them to and charge my card throughout the day. And we ended up growing this very large Amazon business to the point where I couldn't do everything myself. And I had to make some hires. I hired my business partner, Connor, as my first employee, and eventually made him a partner, and then really struggled to hire college kids, and then started the VA route. So that was kind of how I got into it.
I love that. So one business led to another, led to the next, led to the next. When you were creating this business, did you have an idea where it was going to go to, where you have a business that you exited out of in 2019?
No. So, I mean, we had no plans to exit this company. I mean, at the time, it was making good money, especially for a college kid. And it was a lot of experimenting. We were saying, hey, does dropshipping couches make sense? No, because returns are a pain. So we had to kind of adjust and figure out what products we could make money on and were worth it and didn't cause lots of issues. And I mean, the Amazon business, we didn't end up selling that. We had all these VAs and freelancers that we eventually turned into the FreeUp marketplace. And as Amazon became harder and more competition, and everyone started selling on Amazon, we kind of took the route of selling the shovels to the gold miners, so to speak. So we were the service provider for the Amazon sellers. And even that business, like, it was fun. It was our first time building our own brand. We weren't depending on Amazon. We got to learn marketing and B2B and all the stuff that goes with it. But we still we didn't like have a plan to sell it. It wasn't until one of our clients approached us around year 4 that we were like, hey, maybe it does make sense. The economy is at an all-time high. We've gotten as far as it can go, thoughts like that. But at the time, we were just kind of enjoying the journey, and maybe the Amazon business we should have sold before we kind of ran it down while we were really focused on FreeUp, but it all kind of worked out.
So you have FreeUp, you created this amazing product and service for people, selling them, like you said, the shovels to the gold miners. And then what made you decide, did you start another business after that, or was it after the sale of FreeUp that you decided, hey, we're going to go into the more service-based e-com businesses?
So with FreeUp, all we did for 4 years was FreeUp. We ate, breathed, slept FreeUp. There was no other ideas, no other businesses. Every creative second we had went into how do we make FreeUp better. And it wasn't until we sold it and there was a pandemic and we were kind of stuck at home with nothing to do and nowhere to travel that we started brainstorming other ideas. But I mean, FreeUp, we were just 100% focused on FreeUp. There was a brief moment at the beginning where we were kind of balancing the Amazon business and FreeUp, and we really liked FreeUp. We really did not like working on the Amazon business, so we slowly phased that out. But yeah, I mean, it was 100% FreeUp all the time, and we didn't have any other businesses or ideas.
And where did you come up with the idea? Obviously, the school-based business, that's coming from your knowledge and your expertise. What made you decide to go into bookkeeping for e-commerce businesses?
So, I mean, we have Outsource School where we teach people our hiring process, but we have a non-compete, so we don't provide VAs, and we're kind of out of that space anyway. We'll never go back. But we wanted to say, hey, what can we offer to entrepreneurs that has a big market, that applies, that actually helps people? And I mean, bookkeeping is just a massive industry. It's something that we've done really well in all our businesses. We know what happens when you don't have good bookkeeping, like the early days of the Amazon business where you don't have things, you don't know what's going on. And it's all about making good decisions. The month would end, we get a report by the 15th. We have a finance meeting. We go through income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and that's where we make the decisions. And when we got to the due diligence side, the reason we were able to pass due diligence itself, FreeUp, is we had clean financials going back 4 years from the day that we started FreeUp. One of the best decisions we ever made was hiring a bookkeeper from day one at FreeUp before we were profitable to get accurate numbers sent to us every single month. And so we kind of set that up for other entrepreneurs. And I think we kind of take the position that we know what entrepreneurs want. We speak entrepreneur. We don't speak bookkeeper. I'm not a bookkeeper. My business partner isn't either, although we have great bookkeepers on our team. And so we're trying to build a monthly bookkeeping service around what a real entrepreneur wants and needs in their business.
I love that. And so have you seen your why, apart from wanting to buy as many French fries as possible at lodges when the prices come down, which pretty sure in the future they will, have you seen your why change to what you want? Like what is your why now to stay in the world of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of just personal stuff. Like my wife and I are foster parents, and it allows us to do that. Obviously, allows us a certain lifestyle and financial freedom, and we can do whatever we want when we want. My wife has a baby on the way as well, so growing our own family. Thank you. That's exciting. And yeah, I mean, we also just love working with people and taking care of people. When we sold FreeUp, we were able to take a large amount of money as part of the sale and give it to our internal team and make sure their jobs are secure. And we still talk to them to this day. And hopefully with the future companies, we're able to set up people's careers in the exact same way, whether we sell the company or not. So for us, it's all about building businesses that not only help us, but help the people around us, help our teams, and create a place that's fun to work at every single day.
I'm not going to lie. Can I come work for you? That sounds awesome.
Appreciate
it. So going through all these different iterations of business, you went from, your Amazon to FreeUp, which was a major success for you, life-changing success for you, to your Outsource School, and now your two ecom bookkeeping businesses. What tip would you have for an entrepreneur looking to jump into this space?
So I like to focus on big markets. Obviously, hiring is a big market. Bookkeeping is a big market. A lot of people try to create the next Uber. That's very, very tough to do, creating a new market out of nothing. So focus on big markets. And then a lot of it is experimenting. Focus on low risk, high rewards. I mean, with the Amazon business, we put $5,000 in and experimented with a bunch of products. And if we got bad reviews or lost a little money or whatever it was, we pivot and try something else. And same thing with FreeUp. We didn't spend $400,000 building software and then go to launch. We launched and then built the software down the line. So for me, it's all about that trial and error and getting to market as quickly as possible and listening to feedback and making tweaks until you figure it out. And no entrepreneur really knows what you're doing. It's just a lot of educated guesses to hopefully go in the right direction.
Where do you see yourself going? Are you looking to sell these businesses that you have, or are you looking just to grow them until you get to retire, if you choose to retire?
I did want to build a portfolio of businesses that run without me. And yeah, I mean, we have no desire to sell any of these companies. Sure, if someone comes and there's an offer, we'll listen and make the best decision possible. But I mean, I like the bookkeeping industry. I think it opens up a lot of avenues. So I like being in it. Outsource School is kind of near and dear to my heart just because we hire a lot of VAs. So, and it's kind of got our brand behind it. And who knows, I might buy businesses, sell businesses, but overall, hopefully when I'm 50, I've got a portfolio of a lot of businesses that run without me. And I don't know if I'll retire or not. My life's pretty good, and I'll kind of approach it on a day-to-day basis.
Technically, you're kind of already retired from the 9 to 5. So right. You're already living the life most of my listeners are dreaming of. If you could look over the last little bit from when you started your first Amazon business to today, is there a moment that just cements why you do what you do, why you help businesses, and why you help your team succeed?
Yeah, I mean, I love helping other business owners just accomplish their dream. It was cool during FreeUp to see clients start at nothing and grow using our VAs, or vice versa, be a VA on the platform and then become clients later, hiring their own VAs. And with Outsource School, we've got just thousands of reviews of people that have never been able to hire well before and now can, and it saved them money and hassle. And with EcomBalance, be able to solve a real issue in the business space. So I think that's what I didn't like about the Amazon business is you're kind of pushing products, selling B2C. I really like the B2B and being able to interact and hopefully help other entrepreneurs.
I like that. It's a great goal. I had a question. Hold on. I hate when my questions just drop out of my brain. Let me just pull this up. There we go. What is one of the key lessons you've learned in your entrepreneurial journey?
So, I mean, one of them is just diversifying. Like with Amazon, we were selling lots of different products. With FreeUp, we offer lots of different skill sets. We've had situations where we trained one person to do everything and they quit on us, or we had one supplier who sourced all our products and they didn't want to work with us anymore. So over the years, we've just tried to diversify every part of our life, whether it's revenue streams, investments, now it's companies. If it's inside the company, it's different types of businesses, different types of clients. We don't have like 2 clients that are 70% of our revenue. Like we just try to be as diverse as possible. And you can always be more diverse, but as long as you're conscious of it every single day and it's a focus of what you do, so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, that's kind of the biggest lesson that I've learned and try to live by.
Okay. And I want to focus on the selling because I don't think a lot of people selling FreeUp. I don't think a lot of people understand what goes into selling a business. Apart from having the partner or the client come up and say, "Hey, I want to buy this from you." What else goes into like the due diligence and figuring out if it's a good fit for the sale?
Man, that was the most stressful 6 months of my life by far. I mean, they had an initial call with us where they asked some questions and we gave them the answers that we knew really well. We knew our numbers, we knew our business, and that helped us and helped build a lot of trust. And then the due diligence started, and they were sending over 20, 30 questions a day. We were sending questions right back. We were doing due diligence on them. We wanted to know who they were, what they stood for, what success and failures they've had, what their plans were for this company. We didn't want to sell to someone who was going to hurt our reputation or sue us down the line or hurt some relationship with our team or clients or anything. We wanted to sell it to good people that were going to do their best to continue scaling the business. And obviously we wanted to get everything we were owed and not end up battling in court or anything down the line. So it was a lot of that, a lot of back and forth. And once both sides were happy, then you negotiate a deal and there's more back and forth there. And you're talking about money, you're talking about time and every factor of how long, what the transition is going to look like, you're negotiating. And then you're putting all that into a legal document. And while it's the most important time of your life, it's just another Tuesday for the lawyers. So they've got other clients, they go on vacation. That whole process took months as well. And even up until the last day, like we weren't 100% sure it's going to go through. Either party could back out at any time. And until we like signed on the dotted line and it was over. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy 6 months, very stressful every day. You're waking up and refreshing your emails and seeing if it's going to move to the next step or not. But we're happy it's over.
I can only imagine that stressful period ending. What does your day-to-day look like now that you have 3 businesses that you're running? You're obviously a super successful entrepreneur. What does a normal day for Nathan look like?
I wake up early. I wake up at 6:37, walk the dogs, check emails, meet with my team, my business partner in the morning, usually do podcasts in the afternoon, and then it's whatever that most important thing is. I usually take a break at 11 a.m. to do a workout. I have a gym in my basement. Right after this, I have a softball game. So I like playing softball in the spring and just enjoying nice Denver weather with my family and my dogs and my friends. My extended family lives in Colorado here too. So just enjoying life.
Oh, you really got that freedom that everybody looks for. And does each of your days look the same pretty much, or is there at least a difference that you get to have when it comes to
Mondays and Fridays are the same for the most part. I like to work out around the same time between like 11 and 1. I like to wake up early and end my day early if possible, and do sports at night if it's nice out, or watch sports. For the most part, I mean, what I do throughout the day, like whether I have a podcast or what meetings I have or who I'm talking to, all those kinds of things kind of vary. But I think it's good to have a certain structure where I've got working time and not working time, and a certain element of like a normal day, even though it's not 9 to 5, I still know like, hey, Monday mornings, I'm going to be very productive and stuff like that.
Do you have, if you could choose to jump into another business that may not be something you've already touched on, where do you see yourself going?
I'd love to own a software company. I mean, the margins for those are great. They're very sticky. I mean, I think with software where I struggle is like, what is that software idea that isn't saturated, that is going to be still, there's still gonna be a market for it in 5 to 10 years, which is very tough to predict. Stuff goes in and out pretty quickly. And yeah, I mean, software, I just love the business model of software. It just doesn't take that much to actually run it. And I'm a big fan of lean businesses that don't take that much to run. So hopefully one day I come up with a good software idea or acquire a small software company I feel like I can take off.
Well, when you do, please come back and talk to us because I want to hear about the start of that journey, and then I want to see you later on in that journey because I'm interested because we haven't had many SaaS-based entrepreneurs on the podcast, so or at least starting SaaS businesses. We've had some in the further down the road, so I would love for you to come back on that.
Sounds great.
What I was looking at some of the questions you have here, and one of them's for outsourcing school. You hire primarily from the Philippines. Is there a specific reason why you choose that area and not, let's say, India or another Malaysian country?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I just have so many relationships in the Philippines, but I mean, they speak English at a high level. They're all about family and culture, which really buys into what we try to build inside of our team. They're used to working remote. They're used to working U.S. hours. All the things along those lines. Obviously, the cost of living is way less in the Philippines, and in my opinion, if you're hiring, especially if you're hiring for the first time, hire all your people in one place. You're adding a lot of work to your plate if you hire like one person from India, one person from Pakistan, one person to the Philippines. You have to have them work together, time zones, culture, all that kind of stuff. Hire from one place. And if you're going to hire from one place, Philippines is a good place to start.
Makes sense. And why is it important for the entrepreneurs to delegate their tasks? Like this is something that I'm struggling with in delegation. Why is it so important to delegate the task to someone else?
I mean, you can't do everything yourself. We all learn this one way or another. I remember going to my accountant for the first time, and because I should probably pay taxes, or my dad told me I should probably pay taxes. And I met with him, and he's like, "Hey, when are you going to hire your first person?" And I kind of laughed at him, like, "Why would I do that? This is fun. I can do this 7 days a week. The people are going to steal my ideas. They can't do it as good as me." And he just kind of laughed in my face and said, "You're going to learn this lesson on your own." And sure enough, I did. My first busy season, I just got crushed and I was working long hours and I was stressed and miserable and unhappy. And I learned a very valuable lesson that you have to hire people. So there's very few 7-figure solo entrepreneurs. If you're going to grow a business, you're going to have to hire, and hiring is one of those things. If you know how to do it, it makes everything easier. And if you don't know how to do it, it makes everything harder. So it's a core skill that every entrepreneur should have. And if you want to learn my way of doing it, check out Outsource School.
If that isn't a ringing endorsement for outsourcing, having to, wow, that must have been not a fun time when you had to do all the work yourself.
Not fun at all. Very stressful.
What do you see the biggest mistake bookkeeping? What are the biggest bookkeeping mistakes you see sellers making?
I mean, e-commerce sellers specifically, like recording the net that they get into their bank account as the top line of their income statement when that's not the case. I mean, you have sales, you got different fees on marketplaces, but in general, it's all about having a good bookkeeping process. You need business bank accounts, business credit cards, ones that allow view-only access to bookkeepers so they don't have to come after you for statements every single month. It's working with a bookkeeper that gets you books by the 15th. It's having a finance meeting on your calendar every 15th where you review your income statement, your balance sheet, your cash flow, and you make decisions based on what the numbers are telling you, not by gut, not by the money going into your bank account, by what the actual income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow are telling you. If you do that, you're ahead of the curve. And a lot of entrepreneurs are just not set up like that.
Was this something that you learned from trial and error, or was this when you hired your first bookkeeping or accountant that they told you this is what we need to do?
All right, can you ask that again?
Sorry, that lesson of knowing exactly what you need, having meetings on the 15th, getting your account statements on the 15th from your bookkeepers, was this something you learned through like a trial and error?
Oh, got it. Did someone? Yeah. It was trial and error. I mean, for the beginning, we would just wait till the end of the year and then do all our books, and that didn't allow us to make any decisions on a monthly basis. We would just wait and stall and have a stressful tax season, and then we tried doing it quarterly and realized that wasn't enough time to make decisions, and we realized monthly is the way to go. So it definitely, I mean, when you're 20 and you're running a pretty large business, bookkeeping is the last thing you want to think about. And then you realize as you get older, it's one of the most important.
It's an investment. Luckily, we just had a fractional CFO on talking about how important your finances are. So I'm loving the fact that you're setting up you have businesses that talk strictly to this. What are the financials that are important for e-commerce business to know?
Yeah, and to clarify, so we have EcomBalance, which is our monthly bookkeeping service for e-commerce sellers, and we have AccountsBalance, which is our monthly bookkeeping service for digital businesses, non-e-commerce. So two bookkeeping brands there. I mean, the e-commerce side, it's all about the marketplaces and using a tool like A2X to pull in data and accurate data that reconciles. But overall, for entrepreneurs, in terms of like what reports to look at, there's three: income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. Learn how to read these statements for your own business, for investing in stocks, for investing in other businesses. They're good life skills to have. And there's lots of courses or free YouTube videos on how to read them. But the best way to get good at reading them is to look at your own every single month and ask questions to your bookkeeper, your CFO, your accountant, whoever it is. And over time, you're going to get a really good grasp on these statements, and it's going to help you as an entrepreneur or just a person in life.
I love it. We are coming to near the end of it and of the interview. I do have the spark question, as my audience knows. This is from Seek Discomfort. They believe in strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. That's why I podcast, because I get to meet all these amazing friends and entrepreneurs. But did you grow up in a family that encouraged you to take risks?
No. I mean, my parents always encourage me to like try new things and to like try different sports, try different instruments, like try all different clubs, stuff like that. But my parents are just risk adverse. Like they wanted me to take a real job when I graduated college instead of doing Amazon. They didn't pressure me to. They just thought that was the better decision. Even investments, like my dad doesn't like crypto. He'd much rather invest in a CD, like just stuff like that. Nothing like too crazy. But I mean, it's tough to blame them. Like they did a great job. They both retired pretty early. They traveled the world. They're living their best life. They work their 9-to-5s, whatever. And it kind of worked out for them. But yeah, for me, I think the entrepreneur is a little different than what they were used to.
I love it. Nathan, I'm going to jump off screen here. I'm going to give you the full platform. Please let my audience know where they can connect with you, how they can find more about Outsource School, as well as your EcomBalance and AccountsBalance if they're looking for accounting software.
Yeah, feel free to connect with me, Nathan Hirsch, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. If you're interested in learning my hiring process, go to outsourceschool.com. If you're interested in a monthly bookkeeping service, go to accountsbalance.com or ecombalance.com if you're in the e-commerce space. Thanks so much for having me on, Phil.
Nathan, it was a pleasure having you on the show. I can't thank you enough for spending some time at the end of your day with us here. And as my audience knows, the show notes down below will have everything you need to connect with Nathan. And always remember to invest in yourself.